Welcome to Hypnohelix, where science, psychology, and the mysteries of existence spiral together. Here we dive deep into the unseen layers of the mind, the fabric of time, and the truths that shape our reality. So relax, open your awareness, and let's begin the journey. What's really going on with time? What if everything you thought you knew about time was wrong? What if time doesn't flow like a river carrying us along, but is instead an illusion, something our minds construct to make sense of a reality far stranger than we can imagine? Time rules everything. It shapes our lives, our memories, and our future plans. We wake up because of it, we rush because of it, and we fear it. But what is it really? Is time a cosmic truth, or just a trick our minds play on us? Every second of your life, you are inside time's grip. We measure it with clocks and calendars, but if you step back and ask, what exactly is this thing? The ground beneath you feels shaky, as the philosopher St. Augustine once admitted. What then is time? No one asks me, I know. If I wish to explain it to him who asks, I do not know. That's where the mystery lies. We all live within time, yet none of us truly understands it. For most people, time feels like a straight line. Past gives present, gives future. We're born, you grew up, you are here now, and tomorrow you'll wake up again. Simple, right? But science and philosophy suggest something much more complicated. Einstein shattered this simple picture with his theory of relativity, revealing that time isn't absolute. It doesn't tick the same way for everyone. Time bends, stretches, and can even slow down or speed up. Imagine two clocks ticking, one on Earth and one on a spaceship moving close to the speed of light. To someone on Earth, the spaceship's clock would look slower. And yet, for the person inside the spaceship, their seconds pass normally. So, whose time is correct? The shocking answer is both. But why does time feel so linear to us if reality says otherwise? This is where psychology enters the picture. Our brains are wired to experience time as a sequence. Memory creates a story of the past, perception gives us a snapshot of the present, and imagination projects the future. This is how we perceive it, but not necessarily how reality works. Consider how in a dream, hours can pass in what is only minutes of waking time. Or how a moment of danger can feel like it slows down, stretching each moment into an eternity. So is time flowing? Or are we the ones creating its flow? Things get even stranger. Some physicists believe that time might not even exist in the way we imagine. Instead of flowing, all moments past, present, and future could already exist, simultaneously like pages in a book. This idea is called the block universe theory. You don't move through time, you move within the story. This raises a profound question. If all moments exist, does that mean free will is an illusion too? To understand this strange truth, we have to begin with one man, Albert Einstein. Before him, the universe was simple. Isaac Newton believed time was a fixed, unchanging stage. But Einstein's theory of relativity revealed something mind-bending. Time is not absolute. It bends and stretches depending on where you are and how fast you're moving. A perfect example is the twin paradox. If one twin travels near the speed of light, they will return to find their sibling on Earth has aged more. This isn't science fiction. It's a real consequence of physics. Einstein didn't just change how we view time. He merged it with space itself. He showed they are woven together into one vast fabric, space-time. When something massive, like a planet or a star, bends space-time, it also bends time. This is why time runs differently near a black hole, where seconds for you could feel like years for someone far away. This proves our everyday experience of time as a steady universal ticking is only part of the story. The deeper reality is fluid and flexible. This leads us back to the most shocking idea of all. If time can bend and twist, does that mean the past and future are as real as the present? Einstein himself hinted at this when he wrote, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." The block universe theory suggests reality isn't a flowing river, but a giant, frozen block of space-time where every event past, present, and future exists at once. We only experience it frame by frame, which tricks us into thinking it's moving. But just when you thought time couldn't get any weirder, quantum mechanics enters the stage and throws everything into chaos. At the smallest scales of reality, things don't behave as we expect. Particles exist in probabilities and can be in two places at once. Even more bizarre, in experiments like the delayed choice experiment, particle seems to choose how it behaved in the past based on a measurement made in the present. This suggests the future might actually shape the past. Some physicists argue that at the most fundamental level, time disappears. The equations that govern quantum physics don't even require it to work. Instead, time might be something that emerges only when particles interact. It's like a shadow cast by a deeper reality. If time is not a building block of the universe but a trick of perspective, then does our mind play a role in creating its flow? This brings us to another mystery. What role does consciousness play? Some interpretations of quantum physics suggest that particles exist in a fuzzy, timeless state until they are observed. The very act of observation collapses possibilities into a definite reality. If that's true, are we passive passengers in time or co-creators of it? Long before physics, humans looked up at the stars and asked the same eternal question: what is time? Philosophers and spiritual traditions have wrestled with this riddle for thousands of years. The ancient Greek philosophers Heraclitus and Parmenides had opposing views, with one arguing for constant flux and the other for a timeless, unchanging reality. St. Augustine confessed that he knew what time was until he had to explain it. In the East, time was seen not as a line, but as a cycle of creation and destruction. And philosopher Immanuel Kant went even further, arguing that time isn't out there, but is a structure of the human mind, a lens we use to make sense of reality. This idea is unsettling, but also liberating. If time is an illusion, then what we call past and future may be just stories we tell ourselves. And maybe freedom lies in realizing that the only real moment we ever have is now. Our perception of time is not fixed. It bends and twists based on emotion, attention, and memory. A minute waiting in pain can feel like an eternity, while an hour laughing with friends can vanish in a heartbeat. The same clock, but a completely different experience. Do you remember how endless summers felt when you were a child? Years felt massive. As we grow older, years start to blur. Why? Psychologists believe it's because of novelty. When you're young, everything is new, so your brain lays down dense memories. As adults, routine takes over, and time feels like it's speeding up. Emotions also stretch and compress time. Fear makes it slow down, which is why during accidents, moments seem to unfold in slow motion. Joy, on the other hand, makes time vanish. Time flies when you're having fun isn't just it's a psychological truth. The sadness drags time into a heavy crawl, where every second weighs on your chest. Few things expose the psychology of time like waiting. When we wait, our minds have nothing to hold on to, so time stretches unbearably. But once the waiting ends, those same hours shrink in hindsight. Time, then, isn't just about clocks. It's about attention. The paradox of time is that the past is gone, and the future doesn't exist yet, so the present is all we ever have. Yet most of us spend our lives trapped reliving the past or worrying about the future, while the present slips away unnoticed. Some psychologists and spiritual teachers argue that by controlling our attention, we can reshape our experience of time, making it feel deeper and richer. The secret isn't in clocks or calendars, but in presence. We've asked how time bends, how it feels, how it shapes our lives. But now we face the deepest mystery of all. What if time isn't real? Perhaps time is just a human invention. We measure it with clocks, but are we measuring something fundamental? Or just the movement of hands on a clock, the orbit of Earth around the sun, the beating of our hearts? Without change, could time even exist? Some modern physicists, like Carlo Rovelli, argue that time is not fundamental but emergent, like temperature. It's a property that appears only when we zoom out, not when we zoom in. If this is true, then time isn't a basic building block of the cosmos. It's a shadow, a side effect. And the real universe may be timeless. This brings us to a philosophical debate between presence, which says only the present moment is real, and externalism, which says past, present, and future are equally real, existing in a timeless block. Einstein leaned toward externalism. If it's true, your entire life already exists, frozen in the fabric of space-time. The future isn't waiting to happen. It already is. This may sound unsettling, but what if it's not? If time is an illusion, then nothing is ever truly lost. Every moment you've lived still exists somewhere in the block of reality. Your happiest childhood memory, the embrace of someone you loved, they are still there. Always. Spiritual teachers across history have said something similar, that eternity is not endless time, but rather the absence of time. They all point to the same idea. Beyond the illusion of time, there is a deeper reality, and that reality can only be experienced in the present moment. So, what is the truth? Maybe the answer is that time both exists and doesn't. It exists as an experience, a story we live by. But beyond that story lies something timeless, something we can only touch and rare. Quiet moments when the ticking of the clock fades away. If time is not what we think, what does that mean for death? What does it mean for memory and identity? Could it mean that, in some strange sense, nothing is ever truly lost? Because if time is an illusion, then perhaps mortality is too. And that could change everything about how we live. This is just the beginning of our journey. We've explored the illusion of time, the strangeness of relativity and quantum mechanics, and the ancient philosophical debates. But the mystery of time is not just for physics or philosophy, it's a question for our own hearts. What is our relationship to it? If perception shapes how we experience time in the moment, then memory is the canvas where time leaves its most lasting mark. Without memory, time would have no depth, just a flat, endless present. We only know yesterday existed, or that we were once a child, because of memory. It's the string that ties moments together into what we call a life story. But memory is not perfect. It bends, fades, and rewrites itself. Neuroscientists tell us that we don't retrieve memories like video files, we reconstruct them. In that reconstruction, details are lost, added, or altered. So our perception of time isn't just subjective in the moment, it's also subjective in retrospect. And here's the strange part. Our memories allow us to travel through time. Close your eyes and remember a summer evening from your childhood, and for a few seconds, your mind takes you back. Or project yourself 10 years into the future, and your consciousness leaps ahead. This ability to mentally time travel is a remarkable feature of the human brain. It lets us learn from mistakes and carry our identities across decades, but it can also trap us. Some people live more in their past than their present, replaying regrets, while others live entirely in the future, anxiously waiting for tomorrow. Yet, life only ever unfolds in the now. The past is gone. The future is not yet born. Memory and imagination are powerful gifts, but if we mistake them for reality, they can steal the only true time we have, the present. Our sense of self is deeply tied to memory. People with amnesia often describe feeling like they've lost their identity. And in a way, who we are is the narrative of time that memory creates. As philosopher St. Augustine said, "The present of things past is memory. The present of things present is sight. The present of things future is expectation." He understood that all of time exists only through the filter of our human mind. If memory stitches the fabric of time together, then mortality is the seam that closes it. It's the silent truth behind every ticking second. One day, our time will end. Mortality is the very reason time matters at all. Without death, time would lose its urgency. If we were immortal, nothing would be precious, because nothing would be lost. This is the scarcity principle of time. The fewer moments we have, the more valuable they become. Yet, while death gives meaning to time, it also creates fear. Many of us live in denial of mortality, distracting ourselves with busyness, screens, and routines, postponing joy and telling ourselves there will be time later. But will there be? The ancient Romans had a phrase, memento mori, remember, you must die. They saw it not as a symbol of despair, but as a reminder to live with urgency and purpose. In Buddhism, meditating on death is not morbid, but liberating. It reminds us to be present and appreciate the fleeting nature of every breath. Modern psychology echoes this wisdom. Research shows that people who are more aware of their mortality often live with greater focus and intentionality, prioritizing relationships and meaning over trivialities. If you were told you had only 1 year to live, your choices would become much clearer. The gift of mortality is that it sharpens the outline of what truly matters. But death is not only an ending, it is also a teacher. It teaches us that time is not endless, that we are travelers moving through a brief, fragile corridor of existence. It teaches us humility and love, because knowing that time is short makes us hold one another closer. Carl Jung once wrote that a person cannot fully live until they have faced the reality of their own death. Perhaps the final transformation in our relationship with time is not running from mortality, but letting it deepen our gratitude for every passing moment. Every tick of the clock is not just a reminder of time slipping away. It's a reminder that you are still here, still breathing, still alive. If mortality reminds us that time is finite, then the idea of eternity challenges us with the opposite. What if time has no end? Science tells us the universe began with the Big Bang, meaning time is not infinite, but does it have an ending? Some cosmologists believe in a heat death, while others imagine a cyclical universe, endlessly expanding and contracting like a cosmic heartbeat. Philosophy goes even deeper. Thinkers from Plato to Heidegger have asked, what is eternity? Is it an infinite stretch of time? Or is it the absence of time altogether? Plato saw eternity as an existence beyond change. Hinduism and Buddhism also see eternity not as endless time, but as timelessness itself, a state of eternal being. Even modern science touches this mystery. Einstein showed us that time is relative, and some physicists argue it may not even be fundamental, but rather an illusion created by consciousness to organize change. From a higher dimensional perspective, perhaps all of time already exists, present and future-like pages in a book. We, the readers, experience the pages one by one, but the book itself is complete. If this is true, then eternity is not forever, but already. We sometimes glimpse eternity when we are so deeply immersed in music or meditation that time seems to dissolve. These are hints of the timeless. Perhaps eternity is not something waiting for us, but something hidden in the present moment. The answer, strangely enough, may be within our own minds. Human consciousness doesn't always move at the same rhythm as the clock. In dreams, hours pass in minutes. In crisis, time slows down. These altered states of consciousness suggest timelessness is not only in the cosmos, but also within us. Near-death experiences often involve a dissolution of time, with a person's entire life flashing before them in a single, eternal moment. Mystics across traditions also touch the eternal by stepping beyond time. Even in everyday life, we glimpse this in flow states, where an athlete or artist is so immersed in an activity that time seems to vanish. Neuroscience shows that when people enter deep meditation or flow states, the part of the brain that keeps track of the self and time quiets down. This suggests that our experience of time is not absolute, but constructed by neural processes. Perhaps the brain is like a radio tuning into a timeless field of consciousness. Eckhart Tolle put it simply, time is what keeps everything from happening at once. But the now is all you ever truly have. To live in the now is to step, however briefly, into the eternal. And in those moments, we realize that we are not merely creatures trapped in time, we are also beings capable of touching the timeless. So, how do we live with time, knowing both its limits and its mysteries? The first step is acceptance. Time, in its linear form, cannot be stopped. We grow older, and things change. Fighting against this creates suffering. The second step is to create meaning within time. If our days are limited, their value is immeasurable. Every sunrise and every conversation becomes sacred precisely because it won't last forever. The ancient Greeks had two words for time: chronos for the measurable, linear time of clocks, and kairos for the immeasurable, qualitative time of presence and meaning. A wise life balances both. We need chronos to plan and survive, but we need kairos to love, to create, and to truly live. Time is not just numbers on a clock. It is the river that carries us, the teacher that humbles us, and the mystery that awakens us. But within that river, we also discover stillness, the eternal present that whispers that we are more than a passing moment. So live your days fully, with presence. Treasure the seconds, but do not be enslaved by them. Touch eternity, not by waiting for the end, but by waking up to the now, because in the end, time is not only what we measure, it is what we make of it. You've been watching Hypnohelix's Space, where curiosity meets consciousness. If this exploration resonated with you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss our next deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and keep spiraling deeper into the mysteries of life.